Hi, I'm Emma, and today I'm going to talk about how to get an E2 visa to come teach English in Korea. A lot of people have difficulty figuring out which documents to get, so I'm here today to help you figure out which ones you need. So there is going to be 6 different types of documents that you need. The first one is your original university or college diploma, or an apostilled copy of the diploma. The second one is your academic record transcripts, that they must be sealed and stamped from your university, and they cannot have been opened. The third one is an apostilled or notarized criminal check. The fourth one is a 6-month valid passport. The fifth one is a self-health check. And the sixth one is 4 recent passport-sized colored photos. So first I'm going to talk about the original diploma, or the apostilled copy of the diploma. Basically, you have to have your original diploma from your college or university. However, if you don't want to send the original, you can send your recruiter or your school a copy of the diploma. You just have to bring your diploma to the Secretary of State and get an apostilled copy of it. If you are Canadian, you can go to a Korean consulate nearest you, and you can get the copy of your diploma notarized by them there, and that should be fine. So the second is your sealed academic transcripts. If you don't have them, you have to order it from your university. This normally takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get, and it's very important that the transcripts are sealed and stamped along the sealed line and must never been opened. The immigration will not accept the transcript if it has been opened. It must be sealed. Except for Canadians, other nationalities need only 1 sealed transcript. But if you're Canadian, you must prepare 2 sealed copies, because one is for the immigration office in Korea, and the other one is for the Korean consulate in Canada. And just in case you should need more sealed transcripts, or in case your school opens it, you should probably order an extra copy just in case, because it is useless if it is opened. So the third one is an apostilled criminal background check. Basically, an apostille is a kind of proof or a format to validate or authenticate the documents, because they can only be considered real or legal documents in other countries if they have that validated apostille stamp. So they have come up with this parcel system, which most countries are cooperating with. And you have to order your criminal background check from your local police station. It can't be older than 6 months, and it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get ordered. And after you receive your criminal background check, you have to bring it or mail it in somewhere, like the Secretary of State for Americans, for British people, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and for Australians, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and for New Zealanders, the Department of Internal Affairs, for South Africans, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and for Canadians, you can't get an apostille because Canadians don't participate in the system. So you have to get, if you're Canadian, you have to get your criminal background check notarized by a notarial public and Korean consulate. And don't forget that your criminal background check has to be for the vulnerable sector screen, because there are 2 different kinds of criminal checks, and you need to have the vulnerable person ones. And then the next one is the 6 months valid passport. Basically, for E2 visa applicants, you just must have your passport that will be valid for another 6 months. So make sure that you check that your passport will not expire before you get to Korea. And the 5th one is a self-health check. If you visit our website, www.jobinkorea.co.kr, you can download the self-health check form. You just have to simply fill it out and send it along with your other documents. But once you get to Korea, you're going to have to get a real medical check. You'll be checked for AIDS and for drugs, such as TVPE, heroin, or phyllocoin. So if you are found positive for any of these, your visa will be canceled. So make sure that you are clean and there are no drugs. And one more thing about your resume, don't write down any illegal work that you've done in Korea on your resume, because if the immigration officer finds out about your illegal work, then you will not be able to get an E2 visa. So once you have all of your documents ready and the 4 copies of your colored passport photos, all you need to do is sign the contract and fill out the self-health check, and then you send all of those documents to your school or to your recruiter, either by DHL or FedEx. Once your school receives all the documents from you, then they will go to the immigration office in South Korea to apply for your visa. And it will usually take about 10 working days to get the visa code. And the visa code basically consists of 4 letters and 8 numbers. And it's only a code consisting of letters and numbers and not a document. So once your recruiter or your employer gets your visa code, they will let you know either by email or by phone. And then once you have this visa code, you will need to fill out a visa application form. And then you will need to write down the visa code on the application. You can get this form by going to the nearest Korean consulate in your home city, or you can simply download it from the website of Korean consulates. After you submit your application, you will get an interview with the Korean consulate in your hometown. Given that nothing goes wrong, you will be able to get your passport along with your E2 visa in no time. Normally, while you're waiting for the visa, the school or recruiter will buy your flight ticket and send you the e-ticket by email. And then once you have this, you're ready to go. So after arriving in South Korea, you must get an alien card as well. But before you apply for the alien card, you have to get that health check at a hospital for the AIDS and drug tests. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the visa run. An eligible person for a visa run is someone who has had an E2 visa before and someone who isn't in their hometown. So if you're in Korea, normally you would go to Japan to do this. Basically, also, you have to have an education background check through the Korean Council for University of Education, even if you've never had the E2 visa before. But if you want to get this education background check, you have to have a job first, because only your employer can apply for your education background check. You can't do it yourself. So basically, to do this visa run, you have to go to Japan. So normally people buy flight tickets for Osaka or Fukuoka, because that is the easiest places to go. You can choose other places around, but those two are the best choices. The cost will probably be around 700,000 Korean won for everything, including food and accommodation, and you normally only be there for 2 days. So the best bet is to book your flight for 8 a.m. in the morning from any airport in Korea, and you will be able to get to Japan before 10 a.m. that day. So basically, once you get to Japan, you should apply for your visa that morning before lunch at the Korean consulate in Japan. And you will get your visa the next day before you leave. So the next day you pick up your passport before lunch at the Korean consulate in Japan, and then you will be able to fly out of Japan that night at around 8 p.m. So it really only takes 2 days total. One thing that you must remember is that before leaving for Japan, you should get your money exchanged into Japanese yen for the application. It's about 7,000 yen. So now I'm going to talk about the C4 visa. A C4 visa is a sort of temporary work visa for about 3 months. It's usually for camps, not for schools. But normally the schools will only hire you for a month, but it's best to get this C4 visa for 3 months just in case. So normally for the C4 visa, schools won't pay for your flight. You have to buy your ticket on your own, and there won't be any reimbursement, so it's your own cost. After you have an interview with your employer, if you're both okay with the conditions, the school will send you the documents for the C4 visa. And you have to apply for the C4 visa at the Korean consulate in your own country. So the documents that you need for the C4 visa are your criminal background check, but there's no need to get it apostilled. You need an original university diploma and all the documents from the school. And it will take about a week or less to get the C4 visa. Okay. Thank you for watching my video. I hope I've answered all of your questions, and if you have any problems, just leave your message on our consulting board.